Hey guys, what is going on? I wanted to get on here. I know it's not my usual time to shine, my time to stream, but I wanted to hop on anyhow. I was hoping to be on about a half hour earlier, but my wife needed a hand moving some stuff that we're giving away. Uh, we went on vacation, or I went to go get lower implanted teeth put in. They're way too white. But yeah, they are they're in now. I can't chew on them. I'm on a liquid diet for a month. And yeah, so she's out back still, my wife, mowing the lawn as well. So that is I am very appreciative of that because I'm pretty allergic to cutting grass. And she's doing all that, so I said I'd obviously help her move all this furniture. When we got back from it, we kind of looked at our stuff and how small our house is, and we were like, we don't need that dresser or this table or this or that. But how is everybody doing? It's so good to see folks, see everybody back. I'm glad you guys haven't abandoned me. I did my little update video on what happens when you don't feed or water change or do anything to aquariums for 3 weeks, at least my style of aquariums, which is a few different kinds. And actually, the filters went out on over half of my aquarium setups because that have filters, because the power went out, and it was out long enough that the water evaporated out of the hang off the back filters or the canisters, and it ended up actually not having enough water to prime the filter again. So they just remained off. And on those tanks, I think I may just leave them off. So there's that. So how's everybody doing in here? It's good to see all y'all. Prue, what's up? Or Prue Pra. Michelle, what's going on? Laura, Sky Dancer, Andy, Surf City Cichlids, Ian, what's up? Zoltan, Curtis, Aquarista Yuka, what's going on? Hello from Mexico. Hello from the US. Coro, what's up? Emma the Sea Witch, Randy, Mel, obviously great to see you. I need to give you a call and follow up with you. I'm so sorry, I've been so busy. She actually utilized my services as a consultant for her setup and how she wanted to rearrange some things in her fish room, and very kindly use that service, which always goes to funding the fish room and the channel and all that's going on here. Passing Wind, hello. Euro Gupper, always good to see you. And Jeff Kane, Ben Flipper, what's up? Dennis Angle, BS Zero Man, what's going on? Yeah, we got lots of great folks in here today, which is great. Randy, what's up? Aquapuncture. Yeah, who else is hiding, lurking? Scuzzy, what's up? How are you? Okay, so I'm coming back down to the bottom of chat and seeing what's new. Alex, wondering if you know who sells pygmy rainbow fishes. I don't know what a pygmy rainbow fish is, honestly. If you're talking about like thread fins and pseudomagills and praecox dwarf rainbows, I would guess Dan's Fish or Aquatic Arts are two places I would check pretty much right away. I'm a little biased, but those spots. But I mean, your local fish store, there's a good chance they'd have the praecox or the dwarf rainbows as they're known, if that's what you're talking about. If there's another one, I'm not exactly sure. the trickiest, hardest to find rainbow fish are often at Dan's Fish, and there's a link in my description to Dan's Fish if you want to get 10% off your first order. If you've ordered from them before, you don't get it unless you're setting up basically a new email or account login. But if you want to go to that trouble, you can get the 10% off still too. But either way, yeah, Dan's Fish has some really awesome fish right now. Aquatic Arts has some really good fish at the moment, and they're also running a special sale this weekend. Plus, Aquatic Arts, if you use the code FISHTERY15, if you haven't used that code yet in the last month or two, you get 15% off. But they are actually, here's that code, FISHTERY15. You can also use FISHTERY10. And Fishery 10 you can use as many times as you want with whatever code combo basically you want usually. But right now they're doing a weekend sale where things are just marked down without any code or anything, so you can use my code on top of it. And so things that are marked down 20%, you'll get actually 30% or 35% off total, which is pretty great. Caitlin, yeah, I was hoping to go to the Portland plant auction with Bentley perhaps, but he's had a lot going on in his personal life. And then the fact that, I just got back into town, and there are a lot of plants I could have trimmed and brought down, which would have been nice. And of course I wanted to see folks, but I've been gone 21 days. So being home the last 3 or 4 now, I didn't want to go unless I could caravan down with someone else driving, or at least like a carpool of us, and just couldn't get it together. So I didn't end up going. Aquatic Morning Show, what's going on, Jess? How are you? So good to see you. Always good to see you, but happy to see you here. I know you've been working and busy, but I do miss the morning show as a fixture, every day. It's so nice to have a place where we can go and kind of where everybody knows your name. Dun, dun, dun. Am I going through culture shock, Gen X? A little bit, actually. It happens to be like 85 degrees today in Seattle, so it's actually pretty comparable to to what I was facing down in Florida weather-wise. But it's definitely a different vibe, a different pace. I'm really excited. I don't have a laptop that's like got a really good graphics or editing setup, and I really want to get one of those soon. And I had the kindness of Brian Levy. He gave me the laptop that I'm using right now. It was one of his Bitcoin mining rigs, and he gave it to me, and it can do the basics no problem. It can do the internet stuff and streaming pretty well. But I need to get again another rig that I can actually do, video HD or even hopefully 4K editing on, because I have gear that I brought. Hold on. Yeah, all sorts of new gear. Thanks to you guys and your support of the channel, watching the videos. Videos have been doing pretty well, including the old ones. So I really do appreciate that when you guys go back through. And if there's a question you have about the hobby, I mean, I have 1,200 videos over that now. And so there's a good chance that if you take a look on the channel, do Secret History or at Fishery, and then you do whatever your question is for a topic. So, filterless tanks or neon tetras. There's probably a video or two on there. If there's not, write me a comment, and I'll usually make you guys a video, add it to the list of stuff that needs to get done right away or soon. But yeah, the thing that I'm going to miss about being in Florida, hey, Muppet, what's going on? Aussie Llewellyn, Skydancer, Preston John, good to see everybody. Love seeing you guys. African Orchid Dude, what's up? Carol Cox, hello. Also good to see you too. Okay. You'll be back. The Aquatic Morning Show will be back on starting the 22nd, it sounds like, according to what I'm reading here, which is really fun. Yeah. I'll probably be doing new Fishery episodes when that happens then too. But what I was going to tell you guys is what I had the fortune of doing when I was down in Florida this time is I brought this rig, and let's see here. Let me see if we can turn all this off. So virtual background, let's do none for a second. And get rid of this. Go back to general functions. All right. So I got some really awesome footage, which you guys are just going to get a little bit of a sneak peek of right here, of underwater. Went out on a fan boat, which was really cool. And got some underwater footage with this new 4K GoPro. So there should be some good shots and stuff. Let's see if we can. It's so bright, it's not adjusting. But let's see here. Man, I wish I could get this to show up for you guys. There we go. So you guys can see the crystal clear water there, and when we went out on a boat, obviously this is going to look like crap because we're just looking at the screen, but that will be edited into the video of where I go collecting and all that. And I was able to really just take some time and appreciate nature on this trip. While I was healing up from my surgery, what was really cool was I wasn't supposed to do any heavy lifting or anything. And so I did a lot of just sitting on the bank of creeks and rivers and things. And let's see if we can get this to show up on here. So I got a lot of underwater footage too of just setting up the camera for fish, whatever fish wanted to swim on by. I was like, I'm ready for you. And what I was able to do, which was really it's super blurry. I just wanted to show you the fact that this has something on it that I'm excited to edit. It's just I need to edit it on a computer. I can't edit it on the phone or on this laptop that I'm on currently. But I am excited to have this footage now, and also to have an extra camera, and just the fact that I've also bought this selfie stick type rig, monopod, and then also I've got the attachment that makes it a tripod, and I've got 3 of these now. So with my old phone, this phone, and then this camera and another camera, I'll probably end up getting a better DSLR for my webcam, and then I can steal the webcam and bring it with me. But then that way I don't have to worry about setting up, a camera, redoing something 3 or 4 times to show you guys the gist of what's going on, down there. when I'm traveling and when I'm out in the field. But this is a pretty handy little setup in that it's got the tripod, it's got a remote button start, which is nice, and it's by wire, in that saying it's not just a wireless or Bluetooth, so it works through the actual uh, stick, and it can go to underwater, because notoriously one of the hardest parts of filming things underwater is that when you try to touch the screen or stop or zoom in or whatever, it's just not cooperative, because the touch screen gets all wonky from it being underwater. So yeah, I'm excited to cut this footage in, because there were some places where, we put in the camera, and I was either hanging out with well, a lot of times I was just alone this trip, but some of the spots I was also with, for instance, Lucas Bretz. We went to his ponds and we explored, and we were able to find a bunch of new species. He didn't, he was like, I don't really know what's in this pond or that pond compared to one another. And we were able to find, bluegills and sunfish and bass and all sorts of cool stuff that he wasn't sure was even in there. And we were able to get them to come right up to the camera and ham it up for this little camera. So it should be pretty fun, I think. I'm wondering if I get this camera over here. There we go. That's a little bit better. It's still going to be blurry, but just to give you guys a little sneak peek, obviously not HD or anything, but I was able to go swimming in the swamps and ponds and bring this stick in with me, and so I would stay put and float or kneel, and then this thing would outstretch another, I don't know, 10 feet maybe with my arm reach. And so then we were able to really get some interesting shots of all the ecosystem and the substrate and the algae and plant life, to really get some good biotope shots of what it looks like underwater in different ecosystems. And I did that in coastal Florida. I did that in the actual saltwater marshes and into the freshwater, black water. I mean, you name it, pretty much I brought it everywhere. And this little camera was about $550, I want to say. But it feels like it was a really good investment. I guess time will tell. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun playing with it, and I've got a lot of footage to edit. And there's just a ton of a bunch of sand just fell out of it. That's funny. There's just a ton of this footage I have. Oh, it's flipping it when that's annoying. I'm trying to find the one. There's one where we just got all these warmouth and bass and everything just coming right up to it and kissing the screen, And same with one alligator. We had a lot of alligator experience, a lot of alligator time on this trip. Let's see here. What is this one? This might be the one. Still the one. We're still having fun. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is going to be real blurry and everything, but all those little dots, those are fish that are actually crisp and in 4K. You'll just have to trust me. But was able to get just some beautiful shots of fish in their natural habitat, doing their natural thing, and you know, I think it's gonna take some of the video to the next level, so to speak, with the extra cameras. I was able to do it with my other camera as well, my phone camera, but the problem is that it kind of yeah, no, I agree. Ossia Llewellyn, it should make you feel better about the algae in your tanks and things. The happiest places with the most fish were full of cyanobacteria, algae, mulm. I mean, all sorts of stuff. Definitely. What is going on? Sorry, guys, if I cut out for a second there. I guess the computer's wanting to act a fool. Everything's acting a fool technology-wise since I've returned, but that's okay. All right, let's see here. Hey, ASMR, you are so welcome. I'm glad you enjoy it. Johnny Best says, Alex, I've been putting for a very long time fixing missing snaggletooth. No, after seeing you finally look different, I will. Oh, good. Right on, man. You know, it is, my top teeth are still all messed up, obviously. Mostly their crowns, but when I got struck by lightning, it was like putting a dish that had been in the oven into cold water, a bath of cold water in the sink, and it just caused all these fractures and the enamel to be cracked. And ever since that, for 4 years now, I've just been losing teeth and having to get them pulled, or I spent the money on, I want to say 9 or 10 teeth that I did the whole 9 yards of filing them down to basically just a little nub, getting a build up and a crown and then a root canal, and spending like 3 or 4 grand on each tooth when all was said and done. I spent over $32,000 out of pocket on fixing these teeth, and then they still fell out. And as frustrating as that is, I just, I realize that it is something that people judge about, and it makes it's part of the, like, you can't take care of yourself on the most basic level kind of thing, I think, is what people assume when you have bad teeth a lot of times. And although I could get into it and tell them a whole story, which is almost unbelievable in how crazy that story is anyways, I need new teeth. I haven't been able to chew for so long, and so it was 15 grand, and I paid half of that. It hurts just to say that, but I paid half of that up front when I went down there. And then we used our airline miles credit card for that. So it basically paid for both of my wife and I's trip down there. Then in 4 months, so August-ish, I'll be making another appointment to fly back to Florida. And then they'll take these out, and they're going to give me more specifically custom done teeth that are ceramic rather than acrylic. So yeah. Marcus Fu, having teeth helps with the quality of life. Yeah, it does. Also, if you're not, yes, Laura, I did also see the seaweed or the sargassum wash up extravaganza mess starting. I actually did a video of it. And here is my wife-inator now. Hi, wife-inator.
Hi.
What? Yeah. She's the best. That wife of mine. We're also thinking about going over to a river about an hour from town, half hour from town, something in there. And hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I'll be able to, bring this little camera and things, get some shots of the baby salmon, which have seemed to hatch really well this year. They seem to be in large numbers in some of the streams and rivers around Seattle that I've looked into so far. So that's exciting. Um, so how are you guys doing? I mean, what's new, guys? Do you have questions? Could you use assistance with anything? That's why I'm here, guys. I'm here to help. I'm here to lead you astray, help steer that car right off the cliff. Uh, Carl says, very nice, and I hope she deprograms the far right test state influence out of you. Yeah, Florida. Florida is a little different. And guess what my license plate of the rental car place was? It was 850 GAY, which I just thought was kind of funny with everything going on. I was like, oh, great. Now, what am I going to get pulled over? I mean, if I was in Tennessee or Florida and get told that, like, I'm not allowed to be doing a drag show on the road or something. You're going?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Coffee shop I wanted to go to. It's kind of towards Lake Forest Park. Just to grab a coffee.
Oh, not Java Jane.
No, honey bear. Do you need Java Jane?
Yes, I need it. No, I don't need anything. Thank you, though. You're the sweetest, neatest, completest of my wifeists. Do, 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 do. Everybody wants to rule the world. Let's see here. ASMR. I put a bunch of oak leaves in my tank, and the fish love it with the tannins. Also, I put some seashells in on top of it from getting it too acidic. Does this work? Yeah. So the seashells will work. You might want something with a little more carbon, although probably the leaves themselves, they'll have carbonic acid and also just CO2 from the atmosphere will get into there. But the ideal is using crushed coral rather than just straight up new shells. But new shells will work. I mean, they will also work fine. So yeah. How thick of a layer of flooding will plants can mesquite raspberry? Wait. Question: how thick of a layer of flooding plants can mesquite raspberry tolerate? I think I'm gonna need a little assistance on what you're asking. I'm sorry. I'm. Are you asking about immersed plants and like how many can live in there, or like in a tent? Like, I'm sorry, I just don't understand the question. Maybe I'm totally being dense here, but yeah, I'm sorry. Aquaball, what's going on, George? How's it going, buddy? Gen X, I currently have an under gravel filter set up. Do you think you can cap the gravel with a couple inches of sand to try it? Yeah. If you have an under gravel filter, though, you're going to be bringing oxygen down to that layer. So really what you would do is you would turn off the under gravel filter, but leave the downflow tube into there and just allow that layer to desaturate from the oxygenation that's going on. But that's about, I mean, if you really want to try the anoxic thing, it needs to be extremely slow flow. But that being said, under gravel filtration works really well also. So there's nothing wrong with that. And it's a completely valid and interesting way of filtering things either way. Is there an index list, Andy, of my videos? There isn't per se. I mean, that you can go to you go on YouTube, you go to my main page for the Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, and you can go to videos, live streams, and shorts, and look at them in order of chronological order, popularity, length, I think, and there might be one other thing. I can't remember what all they allow you to sort it by, but you can just search in there. Once you're on the channel, you can search in there and see what I've covered so far. Let's see here. Johnny Best, Alex, senior video on culturing paramecium. I have a tank water in a jar with boiled lettuce. Do I have or need to put dry yeast, or can I just leave it without the dry yeast? You can leave it without the dry yeast. If you want to get infusoria, that should grow just from lettuce or broccoli or squash, anything just being broken down in some aquarium water that's just sitting in a glass or a jar. When it starts to look cloudy or murky, then you know that there is a single cell life form in the water. Or I guess it might tell you that there's the exoskeleton of that, that you're seeing those floating around, but it's more than likely the actual creatures. So yeah. Okay, Kent. I have a thick layer of floating plants because of too much light and too slow flow. Oh yeah. Me too in a lot of tanks. And actually, I'm gonna be making a video probably tonight about how you can deal with when you have a lot of plants and they were immersed and they grow up out of your tank, but then the underwater parts die away and melt in your tank, and you're left with this leggy mess of plants. That's not terrible or bad if you've got a little bit of movement and flow, but in a filterless tank, what it can do is it's not ever going to be as large as an ecosystem as, say, a pond or a lake or creek. And so the carbonic acid, the nitrates, the nitrites, and even like heavier compounds and metals and things, they're all stuck in your little glass box, and they're going to make layers. They're going to stratify in the mulm if those leaves are left to be. And there's a chance that without enough flow and surface area of healthy plant leaves or stone or choya wood, or something that has kind of high surface area already. So if you're using, for instance, spider wood, that's going to be a lot less than if you're using choya wood that has, like Swiss cheese on the inside and outside, that you're able to grow all of that. But yeah, Laura says, I'm trying to fix Iliobiopsody issue if I have to dismantle the tank. Could I disinfect the substrate with hydrogen peroxide, like dump it in a tray outside or soak it in hydrogen peroxide for a day, drain it? And yeah, so with Iliobiopsody, from what I've seen, you can actually just take out the impacted shrimp a lot of times. And as long as there's only one that you're seeing with an impact, sometimes you'll get away with that. And it's almost always the case that those shrimp are going to be goners anyways, as sad as that is to just concede defeat. But there is some protocol now for saving those shrimp that have it, but I'm trying to think in my head what it came out of the University of Florida. their aquaculture program, and I can't think for the life of me of what the two chemicals they used in conjunction were, but they did take a bit of time to work also. Iliobiopsody is a really rough one. It's like an algae and a protozoa and a bacterial growth all in one that is it's an amalgamation of several I almost wanted to say vampires, but several different pathogens that attack your shrimp and their gills and their swimmerets. And if you see that fuzzy green or neon yellow color underneath your shrimp, you really need to remove them from the colony ASAP and then hope that you got the ones that are going to be impacted, because the life cycle of the main pathogens in it, they do need shrimp. Now they can survive in the substrate for a week or two, but after that, I believe they need shrimp to survive off of. Luke, what's up, buddy? Hopefully I'll be down there on, let me look at my calendar. Well, the day of the big fin dig in Sacramento. So if you guys didn't know, there's a big fish show. There's lots of speakers. There's auctions. There's like a bull show type thing. I think there's a big general auction, and there's going to be all sorts of just other cool stuff, talks and things at down in the Bay Area, which I'm excited. It's still 900 to 1,000 miles away for me, but it's like it's doable in 2 days of driving. Maybe split it up once, or if I went with Kenny, we could just take turns and drive all the way through and get there in probably like 15, 16 hours, maybe. Um, uh, oh yeah, I am live. If anybody was asking. In the chat there. You must be like, yeah. Let's see here. I'm just reading through you guys' chat. Alex, did you happen to bump into old and androgynous non-binary fish down there? There were some cleaning races and things like that in the reefs that I definitely did see, which is cool. Some big sheep's head fish, which also can go that way. And mollies. Yeah, I saw a bunch of mollies, which they're pretty notorious for being able to use male DNA from another live bearer species and fertilize their own young with it. Uh, let's see here, guys. Can you talk about the different kinds of crustaceans and microfauna and critters there are and how to identify them? Yeah, I should do a whole video on that, but I have done some where if you go and look up my videos on uh, a seasoned tank versus a cycled tank, and what does a tank under the microscope look like? What does the substrate or the microflora, microfauna look like at 3 months, at 6 months, at 3 years, and at, I guess it was probably 6 years was the oldest tank. And you can just see all the little life forms. Now, it's hard to say what they all are because every body of water is going to have kind of a different thumbprint or fingerprint of the assortment of those creatures that you find. And some of them are going to be the most common ones you're going to see are Cyclops, Daphnia, little single cell proteus that are little circles that are kind of just jittery and kind of moving in circles. They're doing little whirly gigs in the water. But then there's also all sorts of little hunting critters like worms and nematodes. There's paramecium, which are like an oblong slipper shaped thing, and that's where they get the name. And yeah, so there's a lot of different stuff. Now, micro crustaceans in particular, baby shrimp are a big one that I like to use as a consistent food source. I like the Malawa shrimp. I think they're the fastest reproducing shrimp that I've encountered as far as freshwater shrimp go. And then, ghost shrimp work well too to feed and to be in your ecosystem. But again, I think those tend to need more of like a brackish type environment. But yeah, I will try to get a video out describing each of the species of. There's scuds, which are amphipods. There's isopods or seed shrimp. There's little water fleas, or sometimes they're called water striders or water bugs, or there's a whole host of names, but all those things are in there pretty regularly. For sanitizing fish stuff, uh, okay, for sanitizing fish stuff, I highly recommend. This is from Luke, who I really trust his advice and opinions. You recommend using a spa at 56 degrees and southern or sodium dichlorocyanacrylate. It's like bleach, but pH. I don't know that one. The sodium cyanoacrylate. Cyanoacrylate is super glue, right? Am I not? Isn't it? Carl, what's up? How are you? We're not here for the shrimp impacts. We want the wild Florida stories. There weren't too many crazy stories this time, although a truck did get hit by lightning across the street from me while I was at one intersection. I started recording, and I do have a short I'll be releasing of the truck just burning to the tires and them popping and everything. Laura says, "Are you going to Dallas Aquashella?" Well, I would sure like to. I mean, I think that would be incredible. I've never been to an actual Aquashella event, so that would be fun. All right, guys. I need eye drops again. My eyes get so dry when I'm at this computer. I think it's just it's bright for how light the room is. Alex did have one of my local fish stores tried to treat, but lost in a hospital tank. Month later, new shrimp showed up out of the blue. Then a month later, a new one just showed up. Yeah. Shrimp, a lot of times you may think that there's a new one born or that you know how many you have, but there's always some that are shy and that are going to be hiding. And it could just be that you're off on your count, or, you guys just, yeah, so many things that could cause that. But you really have to kind of grab every little thing like that that you can, handle it, and then, go from there. Let's see here. Reliving nightmares. That's a rough name, but interesting. Well, thank you. It's very nice of you also to say. I feel like, guys, the channel's finally getting some validation uh, from people who are other biologists and ichthyologists and things, ecologists, that are excited that I'm citing contemporary research papers, that I'm not just using the Wikipedia, rundown, or some, God forbid, some tropical fish hobbyist magazine, their rundown for this is how to take care of a pet rock or whatever. And it's just, I don't know what they base it on. Just viewers, I guess, probably. Mm-mm-mm. All right. got the sanitizer thing from Jason over at Redfish Bluefish, and he's done his own tissue cultures, so I can trust him. Yeah, no, that's exciting, Luke. That'll be really cool. I think you're just the guy to be doing your own. Question: I just upgraded my aquarium and covered a bunch of my ram's horn snails with some shrimp pellet gravel and started to worry whether or not they'd be able to. Yeah, they'll be able to get out of there. They're okay. Most, as long as they're not under really thick silt, they'll be able to get out of there, because as long as their foot has something to push against, some resistance, and then they can climb up out of it or kind of work their way through it with the wave motion of the foot, they'll be all right. Malaysian trumpet snails have no problem getting out of there. Ram's horn snails can get wedged in between medium-sized gravel easier, but again, I've never seen it to a level that it's a problem or anything like that. Like that there's so many trapped or something, you know. It's like one or two, and they'll find their way out. Scuddery, you like that term? Thanks, Asya. Appreciate it. Just looking for any comments, questions, and Johnny Best. Well, that's very kind of you, Alex. You're the best person in the hobby. I enjoy watching you on YouTube, Fish Hobby. Your info you share is so cool. Well, thank you so kindly. Aquashella Tacoma. Yeah, that would be sweet if they were doing that. Yeah, Thor does have a bone to pick with me. Oh, right on, Asia. That's really kind of you. Okay, let me see here. What did Jeff do? So, did Jeff do something? Did he give membership gifts or something? Everyone's saying Jeff is cool. And again, because StreamYard and YouTube are just silly, confounding things, they are. It never tells me if he did he buy some gifted memberships or something. It doesn't matter if he did or didn't. You know, Jeff's an upstanding guy in the whole fish community and always so supportive of the content and of us creators. And I just really respect Jeff. And thank you very much if you released or never mind. I'm not going to put it that way. But thank you for just thanks for being here and being you. You know. The other thing that I am excited about is we're going to have the contest again this year. Oh, Jeff gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Jeff. Man, you are so kind with your support of the channel, and it really does make a difference. You know, everything right now, you know, everyone's they're strapped tight for cash and things. And so I think when you give memberships too, obviously it helps me, but it's great because it allows those people to then be able now to access my community tab and go look at any of the stuff I've posted from all the past 180 some fishery episodes and all the, you know, bits and pieces and knickknacks required to do what I do. What's your honest opinion on the Florida whitelist? Terrible idea. You know, I think anybody who wants to stock their personal ponds with bass or with something that's not going to be on the list that might be invasive plecos, whatever it may be, they're still going to do it. They're just going to buy them from other states and stuff and just drive back home, not to mention like the kinds of swaps and stuff that are predominant down in the South. And all you're going to have is, in my opinion, you're going to have the people who follow the rules without those creatures, those cool creatures, and then it'll kind of become more underground or black market anyway. So I think the whitelist is extremely stupid. Um, if you want to uh, incentivize the black market and poaching and the price of shells and um, body parts of endangered animals, skins, things like that. I mean, by regulating it and by saying no, you can't have it, it's like the quickest way a lot of times, unfortunately, into destroying it. So yeah, I hope to see interviews of those ichthyologists and biologists about their research sometime, Alex. That'd be cool. Yeah, me too. A lot of them don't want to or can't give an interview while they're working on a project. But once the grant money or the university's partnership is over with or finished, then they'll allow those things out. Hey, Carl, thank you so much. Carl Sharks, $5 super chat. Thanks. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, thanks for not embellishing the lightning hitting the truck story, and cheers for a wealth of knowledge. Oh, uh, yeah. I don't even know what happened with that lightning. I mean, I'm gonna put the video up because you can see it burning and everything. But it was kind of just crazy because a truck should be grounded, the tires and everything. But I guess what happened was there was a bunch of it was like a lawn care, I think, or handyman truck that had like tanks of oxygen and tools and yard clippings and stuff like that. And I think that's what ignited was that stuff. It happened to be right next to a gas station too, which was pretty fortunate that it didn't catch something like that. Let's see here. Terry, hello. Have you come across bacterial consortia groups of bacteria acting together with a single cell organism to be mobile? The incredible world of bacteria communities by Journey. I haven't, but it's not really something I've looked for specifically, but I do think that's crazy. And I do know that AQUATICS or protein films, they have like a protoplasm from the remnants of cells of animal cells, and then they'll form like a thin layer of plant cells in the form of algae or even sometimes cyanobacteria, but usually it's an algae because it'll have a cell wall. And there's like a cell wall, so it's photosynthesizing, and then that through osmosis shares any water soluble nutrients down through the protoplasm, which then distributes that. And then under that you get some single cell organisms, but also you get specialized cells that are doing like mitochondrial type things or ribosomal type things, where you've got an intricate system of locked doors and unlocked doors. Speaking of the connections or the proteins or the bonds that are possible to configure in that layer of the little creatures. Also, Jose, thank you so much for the super sticker as well. I just saw that, and you and Carl Sharks, which is a great name. I hope that's your like legal name. Just thank you guys. Appreciate it. For all new members, yes, membership here is worth it if it is knowledge you are interested in. Well, thank you, Andy. I mean, it's $1.99 to be a member. That's all I ask. It really, all my info I put out free in the sense that I'll either put a link or I'll mention where it came from, and you can get at it. The main thing is that I use VPNs. I have friends that are at universities and things, so sometimes I can quickly share images and photos or a link to something that may not be accessible in most of the US, like you have to track it down through a VPN first over in Europe, and then it's in an archive that's kind of closed out off from outside search engine, and it's plus it's maybe it's not translated and things. So if you want access to those little tidbits and aspects of my research, that's available all for $1.99. Anything that I reference or use in a species spotlight or in a video. Thank you, Asha. You guys are far too kind. Best content and best community. Well, that is very, very kind of you. Thank you. Alex, have you ever heard of a pupfish, the only California endemic fish species that seems reasonable to keep? Yeah, I definitely know a lot about pupfish, or I've seen a lot of them. There's pupfish all over the southeast and areas like Arizona, Nevada, Mexico, New Mexico, California, Texas. But the Devil's Hole pupfish is probably the most famous one, if you want to call it that. But pupfish, yeah, they're interesting. They're generally very hardy. They can withstand a wide swath of temperature gradients and all sorts of stuff. There's the Owens, there's the Devil's Hole, there's the Death Valley. What was the other one called? There's another one that has a crazy name, like Starving Horse Pass or something to do with like the Donner Party or something in the name. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yes, pupfish are fascinating. And the Devil's Hole pupfish, I've been wanting to do a whole special on it, but I feel like I need to drive down there and get footage of the actual site, which is getting harder and harder apparently, which is good, honestly, because there's as few as like 60 or 50 or 60 fish sometimes in the year. And then they realize, oh, we gotta start making babies quick. And then they do, and then it'll kind of trail off again. So they're kind of a fickle one in the hobby, in my opinion. Sorry guys, I'm sorry about my eyes looking down so much on the live stream. They keep watering because they're dry, especially after getting back here after being in Florida. Let's see here. Yeah, in fact, mud minnows, pupfish, gobies, cyprinidae, they kind of have an overlap in some of those things. Anyways, I do want to just mention one more time, Aquatic Arts, the code FISHTERY10 and the code FISHTERY15, that always goes to support the channel, allows me to do new species spotlights, because then they give me store credit, money, whatever, to order things and try them out. I've got a whole bunch of botanicals right now that I'm going to be testing out soon, some new ones, some interesting ones. I'm also hoping to do a botanical gradient where I put like 5 grams of alder leaves, 5 grams of alder bark, 5 grams of alder cones, whatever, in a liter of water, and then leave it for a week, and do that with like 10 or 15 different things and see what different effects we get with the pH, the GH, the KH, and the TDS, as well as the any other interesting tidbits and whatnot. Do I have children? I do not. I wish I did, but I do not have any children. I cannot have children, unfortunately. So yeah. After my injury 4 years ago, we were trying, and we'd had some close calls where we had miscarriages, and then I lost that ability unless they really change something. But my wife is almost a decade older than me also, and it's probably not a realistic hope at this point in time for that to end up well, even if we went another route. Can't wait to see that video. Alex Botanical Panel is going to be illuminating. Yeah, I think it should be cool. Thanks. And then the other thing is we're going to have our aquascaping contest. And I know Alan Bauer, and I think I'm going to ask Luke Wang, but I also want a female this year involved in the panel who's into aquascaping and plants and things. But I think we're going to do, we just have to narrow down what the exact rules are and then do all the type ups of how we're going to grade it and what we want to see and what we don't, and examples and stuff like that we did the last few years, which Alan, he's incredible at organizing all that and putting it into a sheet and like making it all anonymous and randomized so that you guys submit it and we can't see the name at first until we click a button, and then it populates the data cells on like a Excel sheet. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty darn awesome. Let's see here. Oh, the other thing is Dan's Fish has some incredible fish. Go to the link in my description if you want to pick up any of his stuff. Also at Aquatic Arts, pea puffers. They're all $4.99 from now on, which is a killer deal for imported imported Malabar puffers. It's pretty crazy. So that's going to be the new standard price, but you can get your discount on top of that. So another 15% off. But finally, if you've had a dream of one day living in a nation where we can put little pufferfish in a tank and have 500 pufferfish in a 50-gallon or a 55-gallon, and they can eat all the bloodworms, regardless of if they're black worms or bloodworms or midge larvae or true bloodworms. Is that sacrilege? That's pretty sacrilegious. I just did a parody of MLK. But who among us will carry the mantle to rock? What is Jeff Kane doing now? We needed more green names. Jeff, you're doing more giveaway membership. Man, thank you so kindly. You are incredible. You are such a mensch, my friend. Jeff, at it again. Asha, thank you. Well, thank you very, very much, buddy. Buddy. Can you identify hard to identify plants from so-so photos? Are you willing? Yes. Sometimes, I mean, I don't know all the plants or anything, but if it came from the aquarium hobby or trade, there's a good chance I'll be able to tell you what it is. And also, Luke is very good at that. Also, Luke Wang is very good at that. We have a number of good people out there on the planted tank forums and things like that, or aquaculture forums and things like that too might be another spot. My jaw's getting a little sore after all of the talking with the new teeth. It's still, since there's 10 implants, it's still just kind of like the whole thing just gets sore from talking. Plus, I don't know, you guys probably saw on on Facebook, if you're friends with me, the fire ant damage to my feet and stuff. So I'm still on a bunch of anti-inflammatories and all that jazz too. So I've got this tired but excited cycle that keeps going where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep now, and then I go wander around for a while, and then I don't go to sleep. Jeff Kane is amazing. He is the coolest out of the pool and list of members that are always here. You are dear and near to my heart. You are the start of everything great. You make all 8 out of 10 friends come to fruition as you give your gifts and your ambition to all of our free memberships. When your jaw gets better for the day, then chew sugar-free gum to build up those muscles again. That's a good call. Sing, baby. Yeah. I actually got an email, and I need to write the gal back, but she told me that her son, who has he faces some challenges in life with like developmental type stuff, and apparently he gets a kick out of the random singing, and the letter she wrote me was so touching that I really don't care if it annoys like 80% of people after reading that. The fact that it makes him smile made me it was a very sweet letter, and apparently he's kind of I'm not going to get into too much of it, but he's a nonverbal in the phase of the affliction he's faced with, and apparently he just digs the random bursting out into song, thinks that's great, and it makes me feel better. It wakes me up, and it tickles the cockles of my heart. So yeah, thanks, Cora. It's one of the. How do you get a gifted membership? I think you have to be on a PC, or maybe it's an iPhone now too. But you have to turn on I want to receive gifts. There's a little box somewhere. I don't know. Probably someone else can probably explain it better. But if it gives the free, or not free, but the when somebody buys memberships and it gives them out, it does it by who has been here for the most streams, who's most engaged, who's watched the most videos. So if you just recently found the channel, you're less likely than if someone's been watching for years and they're just hanging out in the chat. But that being said, you got to be here to get it. And so that's half the battle, especially on a little pop-up stream like this, where you know, there's only 65 or whatever of y'all. You have a pretty good chance in winning. Let's see here. Yeah, Laura says you just have to go up to the left side where the green bubble is that shows gift memberships, and click that takes you to the bottom to turn it on. Okay, yeah. La 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 la. Aaron, thank you. Hey, what's up, buddy? How's it going? Good to see you. $10 super chat. Thank you so kindly, man. Yes, we will be doing another Aquascape contest this year, and you know, it wouldn't be an Aquascape contest if I didn't have some prizes figured out that are going to be you know, probably at least a couple $1,000s in prizes for the top 3 to 5. Because I always like to do, you know, best executed concept, or, you know, most sustainable tank, like the tank that is, you know, the best biotope. Like I like to, or most creative, even if it wasn't executed the best, like their thoughts, their ideas, their plan. We're probably going to do it again this year, where you have to submit a plan of the tank, and then in 3 months you'll have to submit like your favorite 3 photos or a minute or so long video of your tank, and that's what we'll be judging from. But then you can explain yourself too, and why your piece may have turned out the way it did. do, 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 do. hear my wife lurking. I just don't know what she's doing. M. Myers, hey buddy, so happy to see you again. Big hug from Belgium. Aw, well, big hug right back to you too.
I just tried to go tell them not to hire Zoom Drain.
Wait, what?
The neighbors have Zoom Drain at their house, and I just was like trying to find them and tell them not to hire them. They must be in their backyard.
Did you tell them that they stole $1,000 from us? I just wanted my bunny. Oh, speaking of bunnies, guys, my feral cat, Silky, that she's so sweet to me, and she's pretty nice to my wife, but she didn't show up once for my dad, I guess. So I told my dad, can you come over twice and feed the cat, and just make sure that our house isn't flooding or, burning down or anything like that, because he lives about 15 minutes away. And he was like, yeah, I'd be happy to. Well, they had cats and they lost their cats recently. They had two, and one passed away during the lockdown. The other one passed away like a year ago. So they lost them both within a number of months of each other. And now they don't have any little fur babies. And I was the kid in the house, obviously, too. And I'm not around. So they missed their kitties, and so he came over every single day to try to feed the cat and see it, but she's really flighty. But anyways, last night she brought a freaking rabbit home. She brought a baby rabbit yay big in her mouth home, and it was just going wee wee, and I was like, no, Silky, put it down. And she was like so happy that she brought me this rabbit. And it was still alive and looked semi-healthy. It had a couple bite marks on its neck, as cats do. But then she drops it, and I'm like, don't touch it, put it down. And I start walking towards it, and she's kind of doing the bat, in the, like they do. But yeah. It was not a pretty sight. I took the rabbit from her, got it away. It was a baby or young rabbit, and it hops like 2 or 3 hops, and then it just like fell on its side and started going. And it could just see its little heart was racing. And so I kept her away from it for a while. But the rabbit didn't move, wouldn't go away. I tried to put it in the bushes where it would be hidden, and the cat's just pacing and pacing. And so finally I just walked away, and I was like, all right, do your worst, kitty cat. So I don't know what happened. I'm going to pretend like the cat just came over and said, good game, sir. And the rabbit said, you too, I bid you adieu. And then took his monocle off and hopped away, and lived happily ever after, drinking Earl Grey tea in the garden with all the other garden. What?
Do you have the neighbor's number?
No.
I thought you guys were texting.
Who?
The long-haired guy.
The long-haired guy.
The younger guy who you guys would text about Sushi's car.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Let me sign off here. Guys, my wife hates you all and wants you to not be my friends. And she says that the stream's over because I have to help her again. Because she's helpless. Oh, rabbits can die from fright? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, maybe that's what happened. Maybe the poor little thing had a heart attack. It's probably better fate than in the cat's mouth. But you guys, I love you. Thank you so much for coming and shooting the shoot. Nino Franklin, what's going on? I'll get you guys the rules for the 2023 number 5, the 5th annual aquascape contest that we'll do. It's going to be affordable. It's going to be focused on the wellness and the holistic nature of aquariums. We know that this year. and it will be something that, you know, will be limited size and money wise so that everybody can kind of be on an even playing field. uh Only, you know, even if you only have like $40 or something, and the prizes should be something like, you know, a $500 gift card, or maybe like a $250 gift card, and then another $150 gift card, and then another, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna try to make it good. I've already talked to a couple sponsors, and I'll make a deal with the devil so that you guys can get the goods, right? Let me handle that. Let me get through the fiery gates and the flames, and I will lead you to the promised land of gift cards if you are the chosen one of Aquascapes. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay cool, stay warm, depending on where you live. Stay, just stay happy, you know. And I hope everybody is enjoying the nature that they have near them to the fullest. I hope that you guys all go to a local park, whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere. Go to a local park, see what little critters are in the water and swimming around, the whirligigs, the little algae. Honey, please do not play copyrighted music. It'll kick me off and delete my stream. My wife is like, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it, gonna kick your stream off the line. I wanna demonetize you. I love to laugh. I love to scream. I'll do anything. Those aren't the words. Then I sang about a lot of things. Ooh, all night. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. Any stream I do now, any stream I dream, I'm gonna blow your headphones out and break your speakers. Thanks for watching. Thanks, replay crew. I'll see you later. I love all of you. And I laugh.